Alright everyone, with the mid-month banner for May already out, many of us are now looking forward to the next batch of characters CFYOW will release for Bleach Brave Souls. And while several people have proposed a possible Parasol selection, or a Desert Society Part 2 banner, the majority of players I've talked to believe that the end of May will be a Can't Fear Your Own World release. So if it is in fact a Can't Fear Your Own World release, who will the characters be? Let's jump into some speculation. Here is what we do know for certain. The Can't Fear Your Own World characters of Bankai Shuhei, Michibane Aura, and Sainosuke Yamada have already been confirmed. The question is, will they be released together in one banner, or will each of these characters headline their own separate banner? Judging from past Can't Fear Your Own World releases, I'm inclined to believe that they will be released in separate banners, in the same way that Tokunada, Hikone, and Bankai Shinji all received separate banners. If we assume that this will be the case, that means that CFYOW will have to produce 6 additional Can't Fear Your Own World characters to fill these banners out. But who could these characters be? Well, let's take a look at the pool of potential candidates. First, there are several Quincy's who appear in Can't Fear Your Own World, and while they do participate heavily in some of the combat scenes, I'm gonna rule them all out immediately. I believe that CFYOW is going to save all the Stern Ritters for the upcoming 1000-Year Blood War manga banners. So these characters will be coming to the game, just not under the Can't Fear Your Own World collaboration. The next group of characters that deserves consideration are the Arrancar who were zombified by Mayuri. This group includes Dordoni, Charlotte, and Tsurugi. So you might be thinking, well, they made a Can't Fear Your Own World loopy, so there's a chance they'll make these characters as well. And that would be a reasonable line of thought, but I don't think this will happen. In the Can't Fear Your Own World novels, Luffy is simply more significant than the rest of the zombie Arrancar, primarily because of his grudge match with Grimmjow. Luffy actually has a short time in the spotlight during Can't Fear Your Own World, whereas the others are merely background characters throughout. Dordoni, Charlotte, and Tsurugi do participate in some of the combat, but their role is minimal in comparison to Luffy. So let's move on to the next group of characters, the Fullbringers, which include Ginjo, Tsukishima, Giriko, and Yukio. Of this group, I believe that Ginjo and Yukio have the highest chance of appearing in a Can't Fear Your Own World banner. Ginjo plays a very significant role in parts of the Can't Fear Your Own World plot, and he participates in a large portion of the action as well. And while Yukio does not actually fight in Can't Fear Your Own World, he is an integral part of setting up Michibane Aura's plot arc. Now there's an outside chance that Tsukishima would beat Yukio out for a character slot, but aside from 1 or 2 instances in the story, Tsukishima isn't all that relevant in Can't Fear Your Own World. And Giriko, I don't even think I need to address Giriko. So looking at it from a story perspective, it would make sense to me that CFYOW would put all the Fullbringers together, Michibane, Ginjo, and Yukio. This leaves us needing 4 characters to fill out the remaining banners, and I believe these will be Shinigami. Now, there's a lot of Shinigami that appear in Can't Fear Your Own World, but 2 in particular stand out, Zaraki Kenpachi and Kyoraku Shunsui. Without getting into any spoilers, both of these characters have extremely important fights, and Shunsui also delivers a huge amount of exposition throughout the story. So to me, these characters are locks to appear in an upcoming Can't Fear Your Own World banner. The final 2 characters, assuming that CFYOW does go with this format, are much more uncertain. They could be basically any of the other Shinigami that appear in Can't Fear Your Own World. Yoruichi and Mayuri both get a decent amount of screen time, and Kukaku, Aizen, and Ichibei do a little bit of talking as well. But in the end, I believe that the final characters will be Kaname, yes Kaname, and Hanataro. Yes, I realize that Kaname is already dead by this point, but his influence on Hisage is felt throughout the story. The majority of Hisage's inner monologues and character development in Can't Fear Your Own World involve Kaname, or at least his philosophies. Kaname is also tied to Tokunada as well, and there's a sketch of past Kaname in the actual physical Can't Fear Your Own World novel. And let's face it, Kaname, he's long overdue for another version. Now as for Hanataro, he does spend a little time in the spotlight with Hisage. Not a lot, but enough for him to be considered. His Zanpakuto Hisagumaru also features prominently in the final battle, so I'm going to count that in his favor as well. Plus, he's Sainosuke's brother, so it kind of makes sense that they would be together in a banner. Hanataro has yet to get a proper Shinigami version in the game, so maybe, just maybe, this is his time to shine. So since I put Hanataro on this list, the next logical question would be, what would he be able to do in the game? Hanataro's combat ability is very low, to say the least, but that's not to say that CFYOW couldn't make him a desirable character. Just give him a heal and some Kido techniques, maybe a full screen strong attack 3, where he releases a blast from a fully charged Hisagumaru. Or just tack on the potion drop increase ability. They can come up with something. After all, they were able to make a playable version of Iba, and we know next to nothing about his powers. Alright everyone, so that's about it for my speculation on what will happen with Camp Fury Own World in the coming months, and while I do think that this is a very plausible scenario, it's still just my personal speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. Perhaps CFYOW will release Michibane, Shuhei, and Sainosuke together, or maybe they'll release Michibane and Sainosuke together and give Bankai Shuhei his own separate banner for the grand finale. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.